UFC on ESPN marked Kron Gracie's debut in the UFC. So what I'm going to do, since it was a pretty quick fight, is I'm just going to go through the entire fight, talk about what was going on, both from Caceres' side and what Gracie did and how he's able to get the win here. So we're going to start out at the beginning. Now, for Caceres, what you would imagine for his game plan, he's longer than Gracie. Looks as though he has a size advantage too, probably a little bit bigger than him. What you would want to do against a guy who you know his path to victory is going to be to get a hold of you, take you down, and then either submit you or at least be able to control you and win by decision if you're able to somehow avoid getting submitted by him, which in this case, I don't see Caceres really being able to survive with Kron Gracie on the ground for all that long, but I guess that would be one way for him to get the victory. But if you're Caceres, what you want to be able to do is keep distance, and the primary tools you're going to use to keep distance are going to be your jab, and then also if you can use kicks, either teeps to push away. You gotta be careful with those. You don't want to get those caught, or just using leg kicks to affect the guy's mobility and keep it or make it more difficult for him to shoot in and really be able to explode into you. And it looks like from the start that's what he does here. So it keeps him at range, throws the jabs, lead hook, kick, backs away. So far so good from Caceres. You can see he's feigning a lot with the jab too. So again, for Gracie's, that's a concern that he's going to have to deal with. You're also going to see from Gracie, though, he's going to start at least showing a check just so he lets Caceres know, hey, if you're going to throw that leg kick, I am going to check it. And Gracie also does a good job of getting his hands up soon, too, to at least be able to have a shell there to defend. He also tries to use some head movement to slip out of the way. So there's the check, check, check. Hands are kind of high. Hands up as he comes in. It's all good work. We're starting to see some head movement here, some trunk movement. So Gracie's not going to be an easy target. He's not just going to stand still and make it easy for Caceres to pick him apart. So that's good for him. Good job being a mobile target. Really important to do that, especially if you're able to make the guy miss and then shoot in off of that. So now he's going to start to come in. So remember, Caceres was walking him down to begin with. Now here he kind of leans back with a chop, and then as he comes back, he lands a left. And this is actually, it's hard to say if it stunned Caceres, but it definitely kind of woke him up here. It showed him that Kron actually can put some power on his punches. So now he's going to circle out. And now Kron's starting to take the center even more. Now Caceres throws his hook kick here. And it looks like it kind of misses. It lands a little bit with the calf here. So in theory, that could have been a huge shot. It did end up hitting the target, but it didn't hit quite with the right focal point. Pushes away, gets back into space. And you got to be careful with Kron. One of the concerns that Caceres had to have coming into this is that when he does get wild, and he tends to throw a lot of wild strikes, either if you have something happen like that where you don't hit quite on the button, or if you just miss, you can give Kron an opportunity to get in close and then be able to take you down. In that case, no harm, no foul. Kron looked to follow up, but he wasn't able to finish the single off of it or anything, so at least they got to reset. But it is going to have him kind of rush backwards into the fence, and Kron's going to follow him. So now Kron's controlling the center. Caceres tries to pump the jab again. So at least he's trying to bring that back. Now Kron throws a combo. And from here, Caceres, at least with his hands, it seems like it's mostly just lead hand work that we're seeing from him. We're seeing some jabs, we're seeing some hooks. But he's not really throwing it too many uppercuts. The leg kicks aren't coming as common because at least he knows that Kron's going to check them if he does throw them, at least without setting them up. And now Kron shoots underneath the lead hand. Gets a clinch, and this is where it's all going to go bad for Caceres. So right here, we aren't even past the two black lines, but Kron's going to do a good job of driving him into the fence. Or at least towards the fence. And this is good for Caceres. One of the advantages to having the fence there that isn't there in a normal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match is that if someone's trying to take your back, if you can press your back up against the fence, you can keep them from actually being able to get behind them. Or if they kind of are partially on your back, you can use the fence sort of like as a cheese grater to try to slide them off. Now, obviously, you're not going to rip their skin up or anything, but that's sort of like a metaphor that people like to use. But Kron's doing a good job here of controlling there and making sure that there really isn't any space between him and Caceres' back so that Caceres can make space. So good job by Kron. Gets the hook in here. Now, if you're Caceres, you would actually want to have... You'd want to turn him around this way right here. So you wouldn't want to have... let me see. So that would be Kron's left foot. So you'd want to pivot on that, bring the right foot back over, and then turn that way, and then sort of use the fence to get Kron off your back. But that's a lot easier said than done, and Kron knows that he's going to do that. So now, though he wants to turn, this hook here is making it difficult for him to turn, and Kron's just going to follow. So Caceres is fighting the hands here, so this is a good job of at least trying to stop the control from the upper body, though Kron is using the hook to control the lower body. Kron's following here. He doesn't want to give up this side of the back, so Caceres is doing a good job by at least trying to work Kron off of his back by using the fence right there. Kron's well aware, though. Still has the hook. Still fighting for control. And at least here, what's interesting to me about this is that Kron actually didn't have his hands clasped. He still has the hook. You can't really see it here with the ref in the way, but he does have the hook down here. But he's just going to yank him back. I think he's got some control here with his left arm. Sort of tough to tell. Pulls him back, and it looks like he has the one hook in, but not both hooks. But he's going to fight for control. Now from here, it's going to be important to note that Kron has the blue tape on his gloves, and Caceres has the red tape on his gloves. So Kron's got the single hook. He's following. Still has the one hook. Brings it over now to set up a body triangle. So in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, you technically have to have both hooks in to get back points, but no one gives a crap about back points in MMA. It's just a matter of having control of the position. Throws a punch. Gets the body triangle. Now, what's going to be worth noting is how Kron's going to win a really quick grip fight here soon. So right now it's the right arm that would be the choking arm. The left arm is underneath. You can see by the blue glove. So he's got the over-under grip. This is not exactly a close seatbelt here, but that's what he's going for. But he's got the over-under grip. Right arm over top, left arm underneath. Pulls the head up to try to create space. And right now you can see Caceres is looking to go 2-on-1. And he's going to want to go 2-on-1 in the choking hand here, or that's what he's going to end up doing. So 2-on-1 on this right arm, the choking arm. And right here in the blue glove, you can still see that Kron's arm is underneath, or the left arm is. But now he's going to snake it through. And as Caceres is going to fight the right arm as the choking arm, as he pulls it away, Kron's just going to slip in the left arm right underneath his chin. Now, what's impressive about this is that though you know that that's what they're going to do, or at least in Caceres' case, you know that the guy on your back is going to try to do that, and being the guy in the back, you know that's what you want to do. To be able to be effective with it, a lot of times it's about being very quick about it, but you have to be very accurate. If you try to slide your arm through and you kind of like hit the chin or you hit something else and you have to reset and kind of readjust, that's going to give the guy who's defending more time to make a defense on this. And with the gloves on top, that just increases the difficulty of doing this. But Kron's extremely quick and extremely accurate here. Slides it right through. You can see the hand right there. So now the choking arm is now the left arm instead of the right arm that Caceres was just defending. Pulls it back even tighter. Excellent job. Caceres is doing the right thing by fighting the top arm. But as he's doing that, Kron's going to do a good job of trying to sink the choking arm, the left arm, in a little bit tighter. And in theory, if you can sink that arm in a little bit tighter and grab behind the shoulder, you can finish with one arm. Requires a little bit of strength. And it's not as tight as having it with both arms. And if you can get both arms, you definitely want to take both arms. But there is a submission there, and it's something that has to be respected, especially with a guy like Kron, who I'm sure has a really good squeeze. So that's going to be something that Caceres is going to have to adjust for. He's fighting, pushes it away. He's going to slide it underneath. Again, Caceres is trying to fight the hands, but every time that Gracie makes a movement, it is incredibly tight. Wherever he's putting his hand is exactly where it needs to be put. He's not giving Caceres any extra time to make any adjustments. Once he pushes that hand away, he slides his right arm in to go behind the head. Caceres actually is able to defend here, but another readjustment. Now he's just pushing this right through the back of the head, towards the back of the neck. And at this point, it's too much. Squeezes and gets the finish. So big win for Kron Gracie. As far as whether or not he's going to be a top 15 guy in the division, I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of pressure on him just because of the last name Gracie. There have been other guys who have been ADCC champions who have come into the UFC and have had varied success. So time will tell whether or not Kron will be able to be among the more successful, but we'll have to wait and see.